Hello everyone, this is the fourth session to prepare for the exam SC-300 Identity and Access Associate Level Certification. Myself Devender Bhardwaj, and today we are going to discuss about authentication and authorization. Every day we are using these terms. Authentication means who you are, authorization means what you can access. But in today's session, we are not going to be limit our discussion with authentication and authorization. We are going to be cover up few more topics also, which are actually related to authentication and authorization, like federated identity, claims, token, all these topics which we are going to be discussing. These are very important from exam point of view. As you know, that all these topics like authentication, federated identities, claim, authorization, token, these are the topics actually going to be built Entra ID. So, and this exam is based on Entra ID only. So we are going to be cover up all these topics in detail with the theoretical as well as I'm going to be demonstrate you with all the options which are available on our Entra ID portal. So without wasting time, let's jump to the PowerPoint, start discussions. At the same time, I'm going to be open an Entra portal also where I can show you the options related to the authentication, federated identities, claim, token, and authorization. So let's start with authentication, federated identities, claims, access token, authorization. It's going to be building a secure, trusted, intelligent access. Very first is authentication. Authentication is simply answer the question who you are. Whenever a user sign in to Microsoft 365, Azure portal, or any enterprise application, Microsoft Entra ID first verify the user identity. In SC-300, Microsoft focus on four authentication aspects. Convenience. User should have simple sign-in experience using single sign-on, passwordless authentication, Windows Hello, or Microsoft Authenticator. Source. Identity can come from cloud-only account or on-premises Active Directory, synchronized identity, or external identity providers. Protocol. Common authentication protocols includes SAML, WS Federation, and OpenID Connect. And assurance. Authentication strengths increase with MFA, passwordless authentication, feeder to security key, and risk-based conditional access. Microsoft frequently tests authentication methods, passwordless authentication, MFA, and conditional access authentications, which is strengthen your authentication and authorization. Now, I'm going to be jump to the Entra ID to show you about how we can configure an authentication method to an identity. When you log on to the Entra ID and click on the users, you will find out list of the users which are available in your organization. Let me choose any user. For example, I choose Alan Deong. After choosing the Alan Deong, in left pane, you will find out authentication method option. Click on the authentication method. By default, we are using password over here for the authentication and MFA. Otherwise, I can click on add authentication method. And from here, I can choose options like email, phone number, temporary access password, QR code. All these options are available as an authentication method. Next, we are going to be talk about federated identities. Organizations often needs users from another company to access their applications without creating separate account. This is where federated identity comes into play. Federation means multiple organizations establish a trust relationship so users authenticates once using their home identity provider. Think of it like using your Google account to sign in to another website without creating a new username and password. Federation provide single sign-on, centralized authentication, better user experience, reduce password management. Common federation protocols includes SAML, WS federations, OpenID Connect. You should know which protocol Microsoft recommend today. OpenID Connect is the modern authentication protocol, while SAML and WS federations are commonly used with legacy enterprise applications. Next, we are going to be talk about claim-based identity in Microsoft Entra ID. Instead of sending usernames and password to every application, Microsoft Entra ID sent a security token containing claim. A claim is simple information about a user stored as a key or value pair. Some examples of the claims: name, email, department, job title, user ID, group membership, roles. The application trusts Microsoft Entra ID and reads these claims to identify the user. This improves security because applications never receive user password. Let me show you from the Entra portal about the claim. Let me go to the app registrations. I'm going to be register a new application. Need not to configure anything else. I'm choosing single tenant only. And once I create this application, you can see option token configuration. I'm going to be add an optional claim, and I can see ID, access, and symbol are the options. So I can choose whatever I want. And this one I can choose like family name, email address, or whatever you want, more than one option. So like this, we are going to be choose claims. Now, how claim-based authentication process? The claim-based authentication process has four simple steps. First, user authentication with Microsoft Entra ID. Second, Microsoft Entra ID validate the credentials and create a security token containing claim. Third, the application may normalize or enrich those claims by adding extra information such as application roles or department data. And fourth, the application reads the claim and decide what user is allowed to access. Remember that authentication happens in Microsoft Entra ID, while authorization decision happens in the application. Now we are going to be talk about type of security tokens. There are three important tokens you must know about for the SC-300 exam. ID token, which proves the user's identity, used during sign-in, and contain user identity claim. Next is access token. It grant access to API or protect resources sent with every API request and has a short lifetime. And third one is refresh token. It used to obtain a new access token, prevent user from signing in repeatedly, and improve the user experience while maintaining security. The easy trick to memorize it is ID token, who you are, access token, what you can access, refresh token, stay signed in. Next, we are going to be talk about claim-based authentication terminology. In SC-300 exam, it also introduced several important terms like JWT, JSON Web Token, a compact digital sign-in token format used by Microsoft Entra ID, claim, a single piece of user information, for example, a user at something.com or a user at a company name.com. Assertion, a collection of claim proving a user identity. Attribute, information stored in the identity directory such as department or country. And augment, adding extra claim before application consume the token. These terms often appear in the certification questions. Now, before to jump to the authorization, I'm going to be show you an example of JSON Web Token. Open here URL https jwt.ms. So I have copied one of the example to show you about the JSON Web Token. From this web page, you should able to be get the detail about this token. So this is my token ID. I have copied this ID from the Google just to show you one of the sample. So it's going to be decoded that it has header, payload, and signature. When we are going to be see it in the decode token, it's showing me some information. The type is JWT, sub is this, name is John, DO, and for IAT, experience, and signature. And whenever I'm going to click on the claim, it's going to give me the detail that subject is this, name is this, issued at, claim identities, time, which. So this token have subject, name, issued at, and expiration time. So every token have, all this information. Now I am again jumping to our slide to discuss about authorization. Authorization answer, who are you? Authorizations answers, what are you allowed to do? Authorization evaluates user identity, group membership, device compliances, location, risk level, policies, assigned roles. Microsoft Entra ID use three-factor before granting access to an application. A conditional access combines authentication with authorization by evaluating single such a user, device, location, and risk before granting access. I'm going to be show you now on Entra portal how user assignment happens as per the authorization. So let's jump to the Entra portal. We are going to talk now here about the authorization for a particular application. So to open an application, I'm going to open enterprise applications. So here is the option enterprise applications. I'm going to be open any application which is there. For example, let's open this time LinkedIn. And when you open the LinkedIn application and under the manage, you will find out one option users and groups. Let's click on add user or group and click on this option to assign. From here, we can choose a user. For example, I'm choosing Adelvance. So what I have done on a particular application, I'm going to be give authorization to Adelvance, and what from here we can choose a role also that what he can do. So that's a example of authorization. So here you are able to be see that Adelvance is there. She is authorized now to access this application. Add that type of authorization for the groups also rather than individual users. Now, if we'll talk about authorization tokens, we do have three type of the tokens. Authorization mainly relies on access token. However, all three tokens play different role. ID token is a user identity. Access token is resource access, and refresh token renew access without re-authentication. Understanding these differences is essential from exam point of view. There are four common authorization models you should recognize. First is ACL, Access Control List, which permissions assigned directly to users or group for specific resource. Next is role-based access control. The permissions assigned through the predefined role, for example, global administrator, security administrator, user administrator, or we can create custom roles also. RBAC is a primary authorization model used in Microsoft Entra ID. Next is ABAC, Attribute Access Control. Access decisions are based on attributes such as a department, location, device, or project. Another one is PBAC, policy-based access control. Access is granted according to the organizational policies such as conditional access policy that evaluate multiple conditions. Expect some questions comparing RBAC, ABAC, and conditional access policies in the exam.